It was past midnight when Alex sat alone in his living room, scrolling through social media. The house was silent except for the faint ticking of the wall clock. Suddenly, his phone buzzed on the table. He glanced at it casually, expecting a notification, but his heart skipped a beat when he saw the caller ID. Unknown number. Normally, Alex ignored such calls, but something about the timing felt strange. The phone kept vibrating, echoing unnaturally in the quiet room. Against his better judgment, Alex picked it up and answered. "Hello," he whispered. For a few seconds, there was nothing but static. Then came a low, distorted voice that made his blood run cold. "You shouldn't be awake right now." Alex froze. "Who is this?" he demanded, trying to sound firm, though his hands trembled. The voice continued. "Check your front door. Someone's there." His eyes darted toward the hallway. Every instinct told him to hang up, but curiosity and fear kept him on the line. Slowly, he tiptoed toward the door, phone pressed tightly to his ear. The floor creaked beneath his weight, and with every step, the silence grew heavier. When he reached the door, he hesitated. The call was still connected. "I don't see anyone," he muttered, peeking through the peephole. The voice chuckled darkly. "That's because they're already inside." Alex's breath caught in his throat. His skin prickled as a cold draft swept past him. The phone slipped slightly from his grasp as he spun around, scanning the empty living room. Nothing. No movement. But deep down, he knew he wasn't alone. That first call was only the beginning. Alex's heart was racing as he gripped his phone tightly. The unknown voice on the other end was unlike anything he had ever heard. It wasn't just distorted. It carried an eerie rhythm, almost like it was whispering through the shadows themselves. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice trembling despite his attempt to sound brave. The voice chuckled softly. "Names don't matter. What matters is that you are awake when you shouldn't be." A shiver ran down Alex's spine. He looked around the dark room, half expecting to see someone standing in the corner. But nothing was there, just the dim glow of the TV and the shadows stretching across the walls. "Is this some kind of joke?" Alex whispered. "No joke," the voice replied, now closer to a hiss than speech. "Look around you. Every shadow hides something you cannot see." Alex's stomach twisted with fear. Every instinct screamed at him to hang up, but the curiosity that had been his undoing kept him listening. He realized the voice was not only aware of his presence, it knew the layout of his house. Every warning it issued was specific, and the details were too accurate to be coincidence. He stepped cautiously toward the hallway, each floorboard creaking under his weight. The voice continued, directing him subtly, almost taunting him. "Don't look now, but someone is behind you." Alex spun around, heart hammering. The living room was still empty, yet the feeling of being watched intensified. The unknown caller seemed to know exactly what Alex was seeing or not seeing. The line remained open, the static humming like a low, sinister soundtrack. He could feel his mind fraying, torn between fear and the need to understand. And then it whispered again, so softly Alex almost didn't hear it. "You are not alone. Not now. Not ever." Alex froze. His hands shook. Every hair on his body stood on end. The voice wasn't just on the phone. It was in the room with him. That night, the tension in Alex's living room was unbearable. His hands still shook from the previous part of the call, but now the voice had changed. It wasn't just distorted. It was commanding. Every word carried an unsettling weight, as if predicting events before they even happened. "Check the kitchen," the voice whispered. "Something is not right." Alex hesitated. His mind raced between disbelief and fear. How could an unknown caller know anything about his house? Yet, a sudden clattering sound from the kitchen made him swallow hard. Slowly, he crept toward the doorway, phone pressed to his ear. The voice continued, "Do not touch anything. Move carefully. They are watching. A chill ran down Alex's spine. "Oh, who's watching me?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The reply was cryptic. "The ones you don't see. The ones hiding behind your walls." Alex froze. The room was silent, except for the hum of his refrigerator and the subtle creak of the wooden floor. But he felt it, eyes on him, tracking every move. He peeked around the corner into the kitchen. Nothing. Yet something felt off. A drawer slightly ajar, a knife misplaced. It was as if someone had been there moments before. "Go to the living room window," the voice said next. "Look outside. Hurry." Alex's pulse pounded in his ears as he obeyed, taking slow, careful steps. He peeked through the curtains and saw the empty street. But in the corner of his vision, a shadow shifted, a fleeting glimpse of something dark and human-shaped. The voice whispered again, more insistently. "They're closer than you think. Prepare yourself. You must not turn your back." Alex's fear had grown into a full-blown panic. Each warning matched the eerie occurrences in his house, and every prediction seemed too precise to be coincidence. He realized that this unknown caller was not just a person. It was a guide or a tormentor that knew the secrets of his home. By the end of the call, Alex's fear had escalated to a full-blown sense of dread. Every warning from the unknown caller seemed to be coming true in real time. He tried to convince himself it was a prank or some sort of psychological trick, but the signs around him told a different story. He moved cautiously through the living room, noticing small but disturbing changes. The coffee table was slightly moved, a lamp tilted at an impossible angle. It wasn't random. These were signs that someone or something had been inside while he was distracted by the call. The voice returned, calm yet chilling. "See? I told you. They have already been here." Alex's hands gripped the phone tightly. "Who? Who is here?" "Look closer," the voice replied. "Everything you see, everything that has changed, is evidence of them." He slowly turned to the hallway, eyes scanning every shadow. On the wall, he noticed faint smudges he hadn't seen before, like fingerprints erased in a hurry. His stomach churned. Each small detail matched what the voice had described. A sudden thud from upstairs made Alex freeze. The caller's voice whispered, "Don't go up yet. Watch carefully." Alex's heart pounded. He felt trapped, unable to leave, and yet unable to ignore the evidence unfolding around him. Every drawer, every corner, every room contained subtle clues, footsteps that didn't belong to him, doors slightly ajar, objects out of place. He realized with a sickening clarity that the unknown caller had not only warned him, they had predicted everything. And now, the evidence was undeniable. Something had been in his home, watching, waiting, leaving signs for him to find. The line crackled with static as the voice said, "You see it now, don't you? The proof is all around you." Alex couldn't deny it. Every sense screamed that he was not alone. The unsettling evidence wasn't just proof of an intruder. It was a message, a sinister confirmation that he was being stalked, and the mysterious caller knew more than he ever could. Fear Alex's panic had reached its peak. The unknown caller's warnings had become impossible to ignore, and every creak, every shadow, every whisper of wind set his nerves on edge. He could no longer distinguish reality from imagination. The phone buzzed again. The voice was urgent this time. "They are closer. Do not ignore the signs. Move carefully." Alex's hands shook as he backed away from the hallway, glancing at the living room around him. Every object seemed to have shifted subtly, as if an invisible presence had manipulated them. The shadows on the walls stretched unnaturally, dancing with a life of their own. A sudden crash from the kitchen made him jump. His breathing was rapid, shallow, and uneven. The unknown number continued its warnings, almost taunting him. "You hear that? That's them. They're watching you, studying you." Every move counts. Alex's mind raced. Should he leave the house? Call the police? But every logical thought collided with the paralyzing fear that someone, or something, was already inside. His eyes darted to the front door, then the windows, but he saw nothing. Still, the sense of being watched was overwhelming. Footsteps echoed faintly from upstairs. The unknown voice guided him. Do not go up yet. Wait. Listen. Alex strained to hear over the pounding of his own heart. Every sound in the house amplified his terror. The creak of the floor, the hum of the fridge, the wind tapping against the window panes. The suspense was suffocating. Suddenly, the lights flickered. Darkness enveloped the room for a moment, then returned with a dim, eerie glow. Alex's phone vibrated violently. The voice whispered, almost breathlessly, "They're here. Can you feel them?" Every instinct screamed to run, but his legs felt like lead. His fear had transformed into full-blown terror, and yet he remained glued to the center of the living room, every nerve on edge. By now, Alex understood one horrifying truth. The unknown number was not merely a caller. It was a guide into a nightmare he could not escape. Panic and suspense ruled every second, and the line between safety and danger had disappeared entirely. Alex's fear had reached a breaking point. Every warning from the unknown caller had come true, and the evidence around him confirmed that he was not alone. His hands trembled as he gripped the phone, desperate for answers. The voice on the other end was calm now, almost eerily composed. "It's time you know the truth," it said. Alex's mind raced. What truth? Who are you? Who's been in my house? The line crackled, and the voice continued. "Not everyone you see is as they appear. They've been here for days, watching, waiting. The ones who've haunted your home, they're closer than you think." Alex's stomach twisted. He had felt it all along, the footsteps, the shadows, the objects moving. But the revelation made his heart pound even faster. The caller wasn't just warning him. It was exposing a horrifying reality that he had never imagined. Suddenly, the lights flickered and a cold draft swept through the room. Alex froze as he realized the truth was literally around him. The intruders were not strangers. They were people who had been in his life, living alongside him, invisible in plain sight. The voice whispered one final chilling message. "Look around, the truth is staring you in the face." Alex's eyes darted across the living room. In the dim light, he saw fleeting shadows that didn't match his own movements. The sensation of being watched intensified, and he understood that he had been surrounded all along, not by strangers, but by hidden presences he had never noticed. The realization hit him like a lightning bolt. He had been vulnerable, oblivious, and at the mercy of something sinister the entire time. The unknown number had not just been a call. It had been a lifeline, guiding him through a nightmare that he would never forget. Every detail, every warning, every piece of evidence now formed a terrifying picture. Alex's heart raced as he realized the shocking truth. Sometimes the most dangerous threats are not the ones you don't know. They're the ones you fail to see. Alex's mind was spinning. Every warning from the unknown caller, every shadow, every strange occurrence had led him to a terrifying realization. The intruders were closer than he had ever imagined. Yet, the final twist was about to shatter everything he thought he knew. The phone buzzed one last time. The voice was softer now, almost sympathetic. "It's time to face the truth fully. Look closely, Alex, they're not just in your house. They're inside your life." Alex's pulse quickened. He scanned the room, the hallway, and even the kitchen. Everything seemed ordinary at first glance. But then a subtle movement caught his eye. A shadow slipped behind the curtain, matching the exact shape of someone familiar. "Who's there?" he shouted, voice cracking. The line was silent for a moment. Then the voice whispered, "Look at them closer than you think." Alex's eyes widened in horror. In the dim glow, he saw a figure standing motionless at the corner of the room. Someone he trusted, someone he had known for years. His best friend, or someone he believed to be trustworthy, had been orchestrating the fear, hiding in plain sight, watching every move he made. A sudden noise behind him made him spin around, but the room appeared empty. The phone vibrated again. The voice said calmly, "Fear is not just about strangers. Sometimes, the danger is those who blend seamlessly into your life." Alex stumbled backward, realizing the chilling truth. The unknown caller had been preparing him to recognize the threat that was always present. Every warning, every eerie hint, every unsettling piece of evidence had been pointing toward someone he never suspected. As he tried to catch his breath, the shadow disappeared, leaving only the lingering sense of dread. Alex knew one thing for certain. He could never ignore an unknown number again. That call had saved him from complete disaster, revealing a hidden threat that had been part of his world all along. In the end, the unknown number was more than a mystery. It was a guardian, a guide, and a revelation. The twist? Sometimes the most terrifying truths are not what you don't know, but what you think you know and trust.